Authorities are asking residents to remain calm, stay inside. Soviet peacekeeping forces arrived this morning to support local authorities.
New Soviet-backed investment is reopening American factories.
This is Internal Conflict, a massive, casual military sandbox set in an alternate version of America at the end of the 20th century. And right now, Internal Conflict is basically being built by two guys who just decided to make a video game for fun and wanted to make something we wanted to play ourselves. My name is Happy Camper, and I'm building this with my partner in crime, Lieutenant Dale. At its core, Internal Conflict is a free-to-play, cross-player, 200-player casual Milsim. The goal is to sit somewhere between a traditional Milsim and a more accessible large-scale shooter. Serious enough for teamwork, tactics, and consequences, but open enough that you don't need to spend 40 hours studying a manual before you can have fun. The first map is approximately 500 square kilometers. That's right. It's based on a real location west of Chattanooga, Tennessee, recreated at real scale and built from real GPS data. The map itself is massive. It includes 25 miles of the Tennessee River, more than 780 miles of road, and more than 5 million plants, including 2.3 million full canopy trees. The map follows the Tennessee River Gorge through its winding, hilly landscape and rugged terrain. And right now, Internal Conflict is basically being built by two guys who just decided to make a video game for fun and wanted to make something we wanted to play ourselves. There's no major publisher behind this. There's no development team. There's no outside investment. We're doing this for fun because we believe the idea deserves to exist. That also means I want to set expectations honestly from the beginning. This will not launch as a perfectly finished product where everything is locked and nothing ever changes. The plan is to build it openly and to let community feedback drive the entire process. Think of it more as one continuous beta that gets better over time. We'll release things, test them with real players, learn what works, fix what does not, and keep expanding the game. Some ideas are going to change. You're definitely going to see a lot of things break, and some things are probably going to take much longer than expected. But you will be a part of the process and able to help shape where the game goes. I also want to be completely transparent about the fact that we are using AI as part of the development. There's simply no realistic way for two people to attempt a project at this scale without using new tools to multiply what we can do. But that doesn't mean that it has any impact on the creative fidelity and the vision behind the game. And more importantly, it doesn't mean that we're ignoring the concerns that people have about AI in general. We share many of those concerns, especially around energy and sustainability. Once the game launches and begins generating revenue from things like cosmetic skins, we plan to estimate our carbon impact from the AI tools that we use and donate double the amount to recapture the carbon released. More to come on that as things launch. Now, back to the fun part in the game. The reason we wanted to build Internal Conflict is that we love the moments that sandbox FPS games create when the world, the players, and the rules collide in a way that no one could ever plan. It's all about just having fun with friends. And Internal Conflict is being built to generate those moments at a scale that feels almost ridiculous. The game itself takes place in an alternate version of the year 1999. The United States is fractured, foreign intelligence has reshaped the country, and different factions are fighting over what America is supposed to become. The world should feel familiar at first glance, then increasingly wrong the longer you look at it. It is late 90s America filled through occupation, collapse, propaganda, cable news, military power, and cultural paranoia. The lore is still evolving, and I don't want to explain everything just yet, but part of the fun should definitely be discovering the world through broadcasts, locations, documents, and all sorts of Easter eggs at the factions and the things the players are going to encounter throughout the game. On the gameplay side, we're also aiming for depth without unnecessary friction. Kits, weapons, and inventory should matter, but organizing your gear should not feel like doing paperwork. Teamwork should give you a real advantage, but the game should still be accessible to new players and solo players, and people who only have an hour to jump in. As someone with a full-time job and a very busy life, I know how hard it is to even find the time to play the games. And when it takes an hour just to get into your first firefight, it's not conducive to a lot of our lives. Additionally, weapons should feel grounded and dangerous. Vehicles should feel valuable. Factions should have a real identity beyond a different uniform and color. You should really care about the battle that's going on. And the map should be more than a cramped corridor or empty spaces between objectives. Every road, settlement, bridge, ridgeline, and crossing should create a different kind of tactical problem. We're also developing the main game mode, although it is still being refined. The broad goal is a persistent, large-scale conflict where players are contributing to something bigger than a single round. Territory, logistics, resources, movement, and player decisions should all matter. But I do not want to lock us into describing systems that may not change once real players begin testing them. We'll go much deeper into mode, factions, kits, weapons, and vehicles in future devlogs. The first priority is getting the core PC experience working and into the hands of players as quickly as possible. Testing will expand gradually as the game becomes stable enough to support more people. Consoles are definitely a part of the plan, but console development and certification involves additional tech requirements, platform rules, and submission processes to get access to those dev environments. So console access will take longer. And I'd also rather be honest now than promise a date we cannot responsibly hit. The best place to follow development will be the Internal Conflict Discord. That is where we'll post updates, development clips, playtest announcements, polls, and calls for feedback. It will also be the first place to hear when new testing opportunities open. We want the community involved early, not brought in after every major decision has already been made. Long term, the vision is much bigger than a single map or a single version of the game. More locations, more factions, more vehicles and weapons, more ways for players to shape the conflict, and a world that keeps evolving instead of being replaced every year by a sequel. But all that starts with getting the foundation right. Movement, combat, networking, scale, performance, and making sure the game is actually fun when real people are dropped into it. This first devlog is really just an introduction to the game, the world, the process, and the two people currently trying to bring it to life. There's a huge amount left to build and a huge amount we still have to figure out, but the world is here. The foundation is taking shape, and from this point on, we're going to show you the process as it happens. Welcome to Internal Conflict. We'll see you in the next devlog. Don't forget to pre-register at internalconflictgame.com.